This area never ceases to amaze me and is the hottest, most popular, and arguably the most wealthiest suburb of all of Houston. This is the #1 city to live in America. Welcome to the Woodlands, Texas. Hey there, I'm Andrew Lake with the Life in Houston Realty team, and in this full vlog tour, we are going to tour the Woodlands from top to bottom. I'm going to take you on a journey today so you can explore all of the Woodlands and what this beautiful suburb has to offer right where you are right now. You're going to see the 9 different villages of the Woodlands, which are basically the neighborhoods here, and you're going to be able to identify which one fits your vibe the most, what daily life looks like here, and why so many families are just absolutely obsessed with moving to this area. Look, this is the only video that you will ever need to watch about this amazing suburb. We have a ton of ground to cover, so grab your popcorn, sit right there, and let's get started. All right, location, schools, and safety are typically the most important elements when families choose a suburb to live in, and the Woodlands checks off all of those boxes. So let's start off with the location, what's around this general area, and what makes the Woodlands a prime spot for over 120,000 people. Now, the Woodlands is located north of Houston and is about 35 miles from downtown Houston. We are surrounded by major freeways for easy access and manageable commute times. Most notably, we have I-45, which will split Houston right down the middle, and it'll lead you straight into Galveston Island on the south side. Alternatively, you also have the Hardy Toll Road, which runs parallel with 45, so you can kind of bypass a little bit of traffic. And you are also on the north side of Sam Houston Tollway, aka Beltway 8, and also Grand Parkway 99, which you can travel east or west. And Bush Intercontinental Airport is going to be your closest airport, actually, and it happens to be the largest in the Houston region, and that is roughly about 25 miles away. All right, now if you're into fishing, boating, or watercraft sports, Lake Conroe is just a straight shot from I-45, or depending on where you live in here in the Woodlands, you can take Fish Creek Thoroughfare, which will get you there pretty quickly. Now, you do have some options for living on the lake or living the lake life here in the Woodlands, but more on that here in just a minute. Residents here are actually in a prime position, and really though, you never have to leave this area if you don't want to. Seriously, everything is here. Keep watching to find out what life is like actually living here in the Woodlands. Now, before we hit the road and start showing you around, I really want to give you a quick backstory, because the Woodlands didn't just happen. Like, this area was actually designed from the ground up with a really specific vision in place. A place where basically nature, neighborhoods, schools, and businesses could all exist in harmony. And what's crazy is that just a few decades ago, this was all a dense forest and farmland. And today, it happens to be one of the most well-known master plan communities in the entire country. Yes, the entire country. And that kind of intentional design is exactly why the Woodlands feels so different from your average suburb. The layout, the trails, even the way that shopping and dining is all kind of tucked into each little village, it was all planned. And that planning is a big part of what makes life here so smooth and so connected. What started in the 1970s, the Woodlands is not its own incorporated city, contrary to popular belief. It's actually just one enormous master plan community with a special purpose. It's actually a special purpose district with 9 different distinct villages, primarily located in the unincorporated Montgomery County, with a few smaller portions extending into Harris County. Now, this community was meticulously engineered and brought to life by a guy named George P. Mitchell, which is basically the godfather of the Woodlands. So as we tour through different neighborhoods later on in this video, keep that in mind. It's not just what's here, but how it all came together. That makes the Woodlands what it is today. A special and wonderful place for families and people for generations to come. Whenever you decide to move to an area, I want you to consider how strong the actual local economy is. Why? Well, because this will give you some sort of indication on how secure that your investment will be for the long term in that particular area. Is the hyperlocal economy resilient and diverse, or is it completely reliant upon one major industry? Well, let's talk about what you can expect here in the Woodlands. Now, the economy here in the Woodlands is stout, it's robust, and seriously, just listen to all of these big time corporations that are actually headquartered here, and you can start to see why this area is highly desirable. And first up, we have none other than our oil and gas industry. We have big names like Chevron, ExxonMobil, Anadarko, Baker Hughes, Tetra, Occidental Petroleum, and McKesson. And then medical resources here, which are actually not really headquarters, but medical resources also very important. We have the Texas Children's Hospital, Houston Methodist, Memorial Hermann, and we also have St. Luke's here as well. And then we have other financial institutions here that are headquartered here, like Woodforce National Bank, AmTrust, North America. And there are nearly 2,400 businesses and corporations that have found a home here in the Woodlands, providing jobs for over 63,000 employees. And certain areas that are thriving economic urban environments for the Woodlands are going to be the Woodlands Town Center, Hughes Landing, the Waterway, and then we also have Market Street where I'm at right now. Now, here's some general stats that you need to know about the Woodlands. They have a population of around 120,000 people, and the median age here is around 40, and the average household income here in the Woodlands about $200,000. And the median list price for a home here is about $580,000, and the average days on the market, basically the time it takes to get under contract with the buyer, is about 27 days. And we have a list price to sales price ratio right now as at 93%. And keep in mind, those are numbers as of the making of this video. Of course, all these things could change, so make sure if you want an updated market report on the Woodlands to give me a shout. You can shoot me an email at info@oneliferealtygroup.com and we'll give you all the updated information. Now, while the Woodlands has proven its sustainability since its inception, it's going to cost you. And being as straightforward as I possibly can here, if you are looking for cheap housing, this is absolutely not the place to look. But if you can afford it, this is, without a shadow of a doubt, the place to be in Houston. After helping so many families relocate here, we've seen firsthand what people absolutely fall in love with about the Woodlands: the lifestyle, the layout, the green space, the schools, I mean, you name it. But we've also seen a few things that tend to catch some folks off guard once those moving boxes are unpacked and real life starts to kick in. Look, that's totally normal. No place is perfect. So if you're seriously thinking about moving here to the Woodlands, I want to give you the inside scoop of what life is actually really like here. The stuff people tell us that they wish they had known ahead of time. So let's dive into what stands out the most, both the highlights here and the things that might have you second guessing. And let's start with what people absolutely rave about when they move here to the Woodlands. One of the biggest standout here is the nature and the landscape. This place truly feels like you're living in a forest with actual neighborhoods that are just woven into it. You're surrounded by massive trees, shaded streets, and lush landscaping at every single turn. It's not just pretty, it's intentional, as I mentioned earlier. And here is one of my favorite parts about the landscape here. All of the utilities are buried underground. That means no ugly power lines hanging over your backyard or messing up your view. And honestly, I can't stand ugly power lines just hanging around and ruining the beauty of a really nice area. That's one of my biggest complaints about the Houston region in general. And speaking of ugly, the city has super strict signage ordinances, so you're not just bombarded with giant ugly billboards or obnoxious signs shouting at you from literally every freaking corner. They even limit signs to about 6 feet tall, which sounds small, but honestly, it keeps everything looking really clean and crisp and calm. If you've ever been to Kingwood, it kind of has the same wooded, peaceful vibe, but the Woodlands is like Kingwood's sleek, upscale cousin that went off and just got a fancy job and a personal trainer. This area is absolutely beautiful, but look, if you love being outdoors, this is your paradise, seriously. Endless trails for biking, jogging, and walking, winding all throughout the community. It's a nature lover's dream and a nature lover's paradise, but here's the kicker. You don't have to give up any sort of big city conveniences. You've got corporate headquarters, hospitals, shopping, dining, entertainment, and even employment hubs all right here within the community. You can live, you can work, and you can play here without ever having to leave. So it isn't no wonder why this place is the most well-known suburb and voted the #1 place to live in the entire country. All right, my friends, now let's talk about golf, because if you are a golfer, the Woodlands has some serious bragging rights. Two of the most notable courses here in the Woodlands are going to be the Woodlands Country Club and the club at Carlton Woods. These aren't just your average neighborhood fairways either. They are nationally recognized championship level golf courses and absolutely stunning to play. I'm over here at the Woodlands Resort right now. And here's the catch, and we get to this. Here's the catch, and it's kind of a big one. Most of the golf here in the Woodlands is private and members only. That means unless you are shelling out money for a membership, and we're talking a pretty hefty price tag here, you won't be teeing off anytime soon. Now, here's where I said there's a little bit of a catch to this. There is a little bit of a workaround. So if you stay here as a guest at the Woodlands Resort, you can actually gain access to some of the courses without being a full-time member. Not the most convenient option, I know, don't come at me in the comments, but if you're a regular golfer, this will make for a solid staycation excuse and gets you on the green in no time. If you're looking for something a little more affordable and accessible, you might want to venture out just a bit south into the Spring or Klein area. A great example would be the Glenlock Pines Golf Club. Still a solid course, but much easier on the wallet. So yes, the golf is here, it's top tier, but just know it comes with some exclusivity and a price tag to match. You're gonna have to donate a kidney or something. All right, when it comes to schools, the Woodlands is one of those actual rare places where you really just cannot go wrong, whichever direction you choose. Now, most of the neighborhoods here are actually gonna be zoned to Conroe ISD, while some pockets are gonna lean into Tomball ISD. So just kind of really all depends on where exactly you land when you buy a house. But here's the good news. Both of those districts are absolutely excellent with strong academics, extracurriculars, and overall community involvement, which is really what we want for our kids at the end of the day. And if you've got older kids, the two main public high schools that are gonna be here are gonna be the Woodlands High School, which is right behind me, and then you also have College Park High School. And get this, now both of those actually hold an A+ rating on niche.com. So whether your kids are into academics, sports, arts, or all of the above, they really have all of the opportunities that they need in order to thrive here. Now, public school is not your route and you're leaning more towards private or alternative education, the Woodlands delivers in a pretty dang big way. Now, this area is actually home to some of the most top private schools in the entire state of Texas. Two of those standouts are actually going to be the Woodlands Christian Academy, which is A+ rated school. And then we have the John Cooper School, which is also an A+ rated school. And the John Cooper School happens to be the 4th ranked top private school in the entire state of Texas. Yes, the entire state. And those are just some of those heavy hitters. Now, there are dozens more, from smaller academies to highly rated preschools. So whether you're looking for, let's say, faith-based programs, college prep, or Montessori style programs, I mean, there's really something here for everyone that's gonna fit you guys. And here's the bottom line, right? Whether you go public or you go private, it does not matter. Your kids are absolutely going to be in great hands. The Woodlands is a place where education really is a top priority, and that's why so many families here in the that's why so many families love moving and living here in the Woodlands. All right, let's talk about something a lot of people overlook whenever they're moving here or relocating to Houston, but definitely shouldn't, and that is property taxes. One of the perks about living here in the Woodlands is that compared to many other suburbs around the Houston area, the property taxes here are actually on the lower side. Thank God. A large portion of the Woodlands actually sits around 1.7%, which will save you thousands upon thousands of dollars over time, and that is before any homestead exemptions or senior exemptions or disability exemptions, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're not from Texas, our property tax system might feel a little bit confusing, to say the least. And honestly, you're not alone. A lot of families that I help relocate here have no idea how much this can vary. And what makes it even more trickier is that every neighborhood, even within the same city, can have a different tax rate. And that's true all across the greater Houston. And while Texas doesn't have a state income tax, yay for that, don't get me wrong, Uncle Sam still wants his cut, and he's gonna get it through property taxes without a doubt. So whether you're financing your home or if you're paying cash, just know that he is still gonna come knocking for his fair share. Gotta hate taxes. This is why it's so important for you to check the tax rate on every single listing that you're looking at. If you're financing, it affects your monthly payment more than you would think. And if you're paying cash, congrats, you own your home free and clear, but you'll still be sending that annual gift to the government. So yeah, the Woodlands lower tax rate, it's definitely one of those hidden financial advantages of living here in America's top suburb. All right, my friend, now let's get into one of the best parts about living right here in the Woodlands, and that is the lifestyle and the recreation that's out here and available to you. Whether you are the outdoorsy adventure-seeking type or you just like sipping on your iced coffee on a scenic stroll without breaking a sweat, the Woodlands is jam-packed with a ton of stuff to do. There's literally something here for everyone. I'm talking families, couples, retirees, or even weekend warriors, or even people who just want to walk their dog somewhere that just feels fancy. It's all here. The Woodlands isn't just a name, it is a lifestyle. And I know we touched on nature a second ago, but it really deserves a little bit more attention here. The Woodlands has over 220 miles of hiking and biking trails and nearly 150 parks. Yeah, 150 parks. You could basically walk out of your front door and be in a nature retreat. These trails will wind through shaded forest, along creeks, past playgrounds, dog parks, and even shopping areas. So whether you're a runner training for your next marathon or you're just someone trying to hit 10,000 steps before hitting the couch, this town has definitely got your back. And get this, some trails are so scenic you might forget that you're actually in a suburb and not on the set of a National Geographic documentary. And here's the bonus, everything is designed so you never feel far from home. Or tacos. You're never far from tacos. Okay, for a little bit something less strenuous or more relaxing, the Woodlands has a man-made lake called Lake Woodlands. You can see this bad boy right behind me. It is a 200-acre freshwater lake where you can kayak, you can paddleboard, or casually pedal a giant swan boat like you're starring in a cheesy rom-com. And if you don't have your own gear, that's not gonna be a problem. You can rent stuff at the Riva Road Boathouse, which is closest to the mall in the Waterway District, or Lake's Edge Boathouse. Either way, you're covered. So whether you're looking for a workout, you're looking for a peaceful float or just an Instagram moment in a plastic bird, the lake has you covered. It's family friendly, it's affordable, and it's just a fun way to feel like you're on vacation without ever leaving town. Remember I said a little while ago, you could do everything here. You don't ever have to leave the Woodlands if you don't want to. Another cool spot is going to be George Mitchell Nature Preserve, where Wi-Fi ends and wildlife begins, baby. That is located on the south side of the Woodlands. It's an 1,800 acre preserve, and it's an awesome hidden gem. It connects to the larger Spring Creek Greenway, making it one of the largest continuous forest corridors in the entire region. It's a great spot for bird watching, trail running, or just pretending that you're Bear Grylls out in the forest. You might see some deer, you might see some hawks, some turtles, or your neighbor trying to walk off last night's wine, who knows? And next up, have you ever heard of the San Antonio Riverwalk? Well, the Woodlands has that too, just a little miniature version of it. The Woodlands, it's actually called the Woodlands Waterway. Now this Riverwalk is a beautifully designed canal that winds through shops, restaurants, and green space. You can walk it, you can bike it, or you can hop on the waterway trolley. Yes, we have a trolley here. It's classy, I know. This hub is actually perfect for date nights, dog walks, art sculptures, or just jogging off your brunch when you feel bloated. And at night, the light reflects off of the water and it becomes a whole different type of vibe. You're not just in the suburbs anymore, you're in the fancy suburbs. And for beating that Texas summer heat, which is horrendous by the way, you'll be pleased to know that the Woodlands has 14 different community pools, including the Rob Fleming Aquatic Center, which has lazy rivers, has water slides, splash pads, or playgrounds for the kids, and there's even smaller neighborhood pools with swim lanes or diving boards. Plus tons of free splash pads scattered throughout all the parks, perfect for little ones or adults pretending not to be jealous of kids having fun. And there's always something going on here in this community. If you get bored here in the Woodlands, it is literally your own dang fault. We have things, there's so much here to keep you busy. We got things like the annual Waterway Arts Festival, Lighting of the Doves holiday event. We have the Iron Man here in the Woodlands, tons of farmers markets, outdoor yogas, fitness in the park, live music. You can catch a concert at Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, which is one of the best amphitheaters in the entire country, by the way, that hosts major national musicians. This isn't just a sleepy suburb. The Woodlands loves to have a good event. Weekends here are packed with stuff to do. It's family friendly, pet friendly, and frankly, just fun friendly. The Woodlands isn't just a nice place to live, it really is a lifestyle hub. So whether you're paddling on the lake, ziplining through the trees, or catching a concert, or just enjoying coffee on the waterway, there really is always something happening here in the Woodlands. It's like living in a resort, but with mail delivery. All right, one thing that I hear all of the time from clients who move here to the Woodlands is how much they love the absolute convenience of everything. Every single village here has its own little shopping center or shopping village. So whether you are in Alden Bridge, where I'm at right now, Cochran's Crossing, Creekside, you've got your grocery store, you got your restaurants, and you got even little retail therapy right there. You don't have to really leave your area if you don't ever want to, which is super freaking convenient. And even if you do, it's no big deal. It's all super interconnected and everything is like 10 to 15 minutes away max. But having your own shopping center basically right outside of your neighborhood, that's quite the game changer, and it makes everyday errands just easier. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest reasons people choose to live in the Woodlands, and that is safety. I mean, just check out these rankings from niche.com. It's actually rated the #1 best city to live in America, the 2nd best city to buy a house, the 2nd best city to raise a family, and the 6th best for public schools, and the 6th best for retiring in America. And that's not just good. That's out of the top list of over the top 200 cities in America. And when it comes to safety, yeah, the Woodlands knocks it out of the park. According to niche.com, 70% of residents said that they feel very safe living here, and another 25% said they feel very safe with just a little bit of minor concerns here and there. That's over 95% of the population here saying they feel good about where they live. And keep in mind, this isn't some tiny little gated community. This Woodlands has over 120,000 people living here, and it still feels secure and peaceful. That's actually pretty dang remarkable. There's really no widespread concern for safety here. It's a place where kids can still ride their bikes to the park, neighbors look out for each other, and evening walks aren't something that you really have to second guess. Now, a big part of that safety is going to come from a strong local law enforcement presence. The Woodlands is going to be served by Montgomery County Constables. You can see the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, which has a dedicated division just for the Woodlands. And these guys are active in the community. You'll see them around the shopping centers, you'll see them around schools, you're going to see them around all the trails and all the neighborhoods. And they're not just responding to emergencies, they're out here making sure that things stay quiet and safe. I mean, that's what the residents want. And there's also an additional security presence through Constable Precinct 3, by the way, plus a number of other neighborhood watch programs that are out there that keep the neighborhood tight-knit and aware. It's also one of the many reasons why families, retirees, and even young professionals feel so at ease putting down roots here in the Woodlands. All right, now let's talk about commuting and work life, because this is where the Woodlands really sets itself apart from other suburbs here in Houston. Look, here's the thing. You might not even have to commute at all. Over 65,000 people actually work right here in the Woodlands, which is kind of wild when we think about it. That's over half of the population here. This isn't just a bedroom community where everyone leaves in the morning and then just comes back at night. The Woodlands literally has its own economy, and it's a freaking strong one. We're talking about major companies like ExxonMobil's massive campus just minutes away. We got other companies like Chevron Phillips, Hewitt Associates, Occidental Petroleum. We have Woodforest National Bank. We have top-notch medical institutions like Memorial Hermann and St. Luke's Hospitals. There's tons of other corporate offices here as well. So whether you're in energy, healthcare, finance, or tech, or even hospitality, there are real career opportunities right here without ever having to jump on I-45 every single morning and just hate your life. And if you do have to commute into Houston, you're looking about 35 to 45 minutes to get to downtown, depending on traffic and the time of day. Not really ideal, but it's also not uncommon for people here in the greater Houston region. But honestly, the majority of residents here live, work, and play all within the Woodlands, which is why the quality of life here is so high. Less time in traffic equals literally more time to do anything else. So if working close to home and avoiding the Houston rat race sounds like a dream, man, the Woodlands might just be the perfect fit for you. Now listen, I love the Woodlands as the next person, and I help a ton of families move here every single year. But as with any place, there are a few things that you absolutely should be aware of before packing up and making the move. There is no perfect place, right? So let me fill you in on just a few things that tend to surprise some people, to say the least, once they actually get here and they're actually living here and those moving boxes are actually unpacked. These aren't necessarily deal breakers for most folks, but they're definitely good to know ahead of time. And honestly, it was a little bit difficult to try to come up with any negatives about the Woodlands because this place truly is remarkable, but here's what I got. First up, everything is kind of hidden, and I mean that literally. Like, the Woodlands is designed to just blend in with nature, which is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it also means that you're probably gonna miss your turn, like a lot, when you're new here, for sure. So the signs here are actually really small. They're low to the ground and they're tucked behind trees. There are no giant flashy shopping centers and the shopping center signs yelling, turn here, which actually kind of keeps the area looking pretty clean and peaceful, honestly. But it also means that you're gonna be doing quite a bit of U-turns for the first few weeks whenever you live here. But it's not just you, everyone goes through this. So make sure you are adapted to Google Maps or using Apple Maps, because you're gonna need it getting around. Second, real estate here is not cheap. I mean, if you're working with a tighter type of budget, the Woodlands might not be the most budget-friendly suburb to start with. Home prices here are definitely on the higher end compared to other parts of the greater Houston area. And part of that is because of the location, the schools, all of the amenities that are here. You can see the waterway is right behind me, and just the overall pretty much lifestyle. I mean, there's people running around here all the time. You're really paying for the full package here. You're not just paying for a house, you're paying for everything that you get here in the area. Third thing, if you're looking for new construction, you're probably out of luck unless you're shopping in the ultra luxury high-end price point. The Woodlands is pretty much built out at this point, so you really won't find very many traditional new home communities or new master plan communities. So what does exist is usually like that one-off custom builds on privately owned lots, and that's usually well into the seven-figure range anyways. So if brand new is a non-negotiable for you, you might want to look just outside of the Woodlands in areas like Conroe or Magnolia or maybe Katy or Spring, just different areas around the Woodlands area. Well, Katie's not anywhere close here, but you get what I mean. And last on the list, let's talk about the trees. They are stunning, don't get me wrong. The whole area feels like you're living in a peaceful forest retreat, but they come with a little bit of maintenance and reality. Pine needles. Pine needles everywhere. Your roof, your driveway, your gutters, your car, you name it, there will be pine needles all over the dang place. It's just part of the package deal with all that lush greenery that comes along with living here in the Woodlands. So those are just a few things to think about whenever it comes to living here in the Woodlands. Like anywhere, it's got its perks and it's got its quirks. So, but for a lot of people though, the pros definitely outweigh any of the trade-offs. And it really comes down to your lifestyle, your budget, and what kind of environment that you do want to ultimately call home. And if you're seriously thinking about making a move out here, I'd love to help you figure out if the Woodlands is the right fit or point you toward something different or something similar that checks off more of the boxes for you. Either way, you don't have to figure this stuff out alone. My team and I are here to guide you through it all. You can find all of my contact information in the description box down below, and I'll even pin it in the comment section for you as well. Well, let's keep it moving. All right, guys, now let's talk about one of my favorite parts about the Woodlands, and I know I'm not alone here, the shopping and the dining. So whether you are a hardcore shopper or just a casual window shopping browser or someone who just likes to walk around pretending you're gonna buy that $3,000 handbag, look, no judgment. The Woodlands actually has you covered here. Southern Living magazine calls the Woodlands one of America's best shopping destinations. We ain't messing around over here, folks. And first up, we've got Market Street. That's where I was earlier. And let me just say, it's kind of the crown jewel of shopping and dining here in the Woodlands. This is an open air, beautifully landscaped shopping center with all of the high-end spots. We got Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co., Lululemon, Sur La Table, and just really a ton more. You can sip your overpriced iced latte while doing a little bit of luxury window shopping or actual shopping. It's also the perfect place to people watch. We all love people watching, let's be real. I mean, you're gonna see everything from stroller squads rolling 5 deep to teens filming TikToks in front of the Anthropology. And if you come during the holidays, it actually turns into a Hallmark movie set, complete with the lights, the music, live music, and events on the central lawn, which is actually pretty cool. So whether you're shopping, dining, or just soaking in the vibe, Market Street is peak Woodlands energy and absolutely something you should definitely check out. All right, next up, we've got the Woodlands Mall. Now, the Woodlands Mall is huge. It has over 160 stores inside. We have Nordstrom, Apple, Macy's, Sephora, the Lego store. You name it, it's really all there. They probably got it if you could think of it. It's the go-to spot when you need real practical shopping done or when you've got a teenager who just suddenly needs an entirely new wardrobe. Again, if you've got kids, there's an indoor carousel that'll keep them entertained while you try to remember why you came there in the first place. It's also a great mix of chain restaurants and quick food spots so you can refuel mid-shopping spree. Because let's be honest, shopping is pretty much cardio, especially if you have kids. And then we've got none other than Hughes Landing. Now this one is for those of you who like your shopping with a little bit of side of scenery, right? Set right on Lake Woodlands, Hughes Landing offers a smaller, a little bit more curated shopping and dining experience, but it's definitely more upscale and relaxing. I want you to think boutique shops, stylish restaurants, and the kind of place where you just feel fancier just for being there. It's a great spot for brunch, happy hour, or a low-key kind of date night. You can grab, or you can shop a bit. You can grab a really nice glass of wine. You can take a stroll by the water like a responsible adult that you keep pretending to be. And if you stick around for the sunset, chef's kiss, baby. So whether you're balling at Louis Vuitton, chasing your toddler through Nordstrom, or just vibing at the lake at Hughes Landing, the Woodlands makes retail therapy feel like an actual lifestyle, which is what we all crave at the end of the day. And that's exactly what makes this place so special. You don't have to drive into the city for high-end experiences or going into River Oaks in Houston. It's literally all right here within minutes from your home. All right, now that you've got a feel for the lifestyle, the shopping, the nature, and all of the fun stuff, let's talk about the neighborhoods. The Woodlands isn't just one big neighborhood. It's actually made up of 9 different villages, and each one has its own little vibe with its own amenities. Some are more established with beautiful mature trees and custom homes, while others feel a little bit more newer and they offer a little bit more maybe a modern master plan community type of layout. Some villages are super family focused, while others lean toward a quieter, more private kind of lifestyle. And what's really cool is no matter which village that you're in, you've still got access to all the trails, all the parks, all the shopping centers, and all of the top rated schools. It's all interconnected. So even though you technically live in one village, you'll probably explore and enjoy several of them actually. So in this section, I'm going to take you on a tour of a few of the most popular villages so you can get a feel for what it's like to live in each one, and hopefully to help you figure out which one fits your vibe the best. Let's kick it off with the first stop of our tour. What better way to kick off this tour than to show you where it all began? Welcome to Grogan's Mill. This is the very first and the original village to the Woodlands, and the development started in the beginning around the 1970s, and people started moving in around 1974. Now this is actually the oldest village in town, and because of that, you will find beautiful mature trees all over the place. You'll find really wide roads, larger lot sizes, and very unique type of architecture that almost resembles kind of a tree house, I guess you could say. It's quiet and it's serene over here. Now, Grogan's Mill is located in the front of the Woodlands, south of the town center. and butts up against I-45 for quick and easy access to get in and out of the community. And you do have your anchor type of grocery stores and shopping centers at the Grogan's Mill Shopping Center. Remember when I said that every single village has their own shopping center? Well, there you go. Now you see what I mean. Homes here range from 1,200 to 8,000 square feet, and as of the making of this video, there are 94 active listings ranging in price from $270,000 all the way up to $3.7, and an average list price of $864,000, or a whopping $266 a square foot. Like I said earlier, it is not cheap here. What's interesting about Grogan's Mill though is we see custom home builders buying up some older homes here, tearing them down and building new, modern, contemporary type of housing with modernized floor plans. Love it or hate it, look, that's kind of what's happening over here. And when it comes to amenities, there are 12 parks in this village, most notable Turmeric and Sawmill Park, which features pools, playgrounds, tennis courts, and picnic areas. I mean, you got it all. And you have easy access to the golf course, and the Woodlands Resort is actually gonna be located here as well, and that is a super awesome place to be. They got water slides, pools, lazy rivers, and a convention center. And that's actually a perfect place to stay if you do plan to fly in and explore the Woodlands before you make that commitment to move here. Now let's do this. Let's do a 1-minute drive so you can see for yourself exactly what this village looks like at the ground level. Let's ride. Just north of Grogan's Mill brings us to our next village, and we are at the town center, or East Shore Villages. And if you were to Google the Woodlands, the town center is the area that you more than likely would see. Now this is the central hub for every village in the Woodlands, and it is the commercial haven. You have endless amazing options for dining, for shopping, the Woodlands Mall, the Market Street. This is all of the town center. It's like the downtown for the Woodlands, basically. Like I said a second ago, it's the central place for residents of all of the other villages to get together as a community. People hang out here from their other villages, and you have amazing views in this area, and you will find some outstanding, gorgeous luxury waterfront homes on Lake Woodlands as well. This is also where Cynthia Wood's Mitchell Pavilion is located, which is one of the world's best modern amphitheaters and hosts big names all of the time. Super fun place to be. I actually grew up going to the Woodlands Mitchell Pavilion quite often with my dad growing up, and it's a memory that I'll cherish forever, but you too can also create memories with your family. Anyways, you will find some of the nicest and most expensive homes here in this village. It's smaller than the others, so there isn't really a ton of options to choose from. The types of housing that you're gonna find here are condos or townhomes, like you kind of see behind me. You also see some 4-story super skinny homes. I call those row houses. And you'll also find some wildly luxurious mansions as well. Also, get this, if you have the budget, you can live on a small little island on Lake Woodlands here in East Shore, which will cost you at several $1 million at minimum. And you know what? This area kind of reminds me of Midtown in the inner city of Houston. It just kind of has that vibe, just a much cleaner and much better version overall, and safer at that. Now, the amenities in East Shore are going to include the residents-only East Shore Clubhouse, which happens to actually be right in front of me right now, that features a pool, a quality gym, and you'll also have easy access to the Woodlands Waterway at the town center, which is kind of cool. It has tons of trails, bridges, and that really makes a perfect time for running and just different hiking paths. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a 1-minute drive around so you can see at the ground level what it looks like here in East Shore. All right, the next village on our visit today happens to be the second village ever developed right here in the Woodlands, and that's none other than Panther Creek, which opened up right around 1977. Now, Panther Creek is centrally located within the Woodlands off of Woodlands Parkway, and the east side of the village actually borders the west side of Lake Woodlands. Now, the village is another with massive ranges in home prices, and they can range from $230,000 all the way up to $5.4 million. And as of the making of this video, there are 42 active listings with an average list price of $955,000 or $278 per square. Home sizes are going to range from 1,200 square foot all the way up to above 8,000. Now, the Panther Creek Shopping Center is an anchor here in the village, featuring tons of local mom and pop shops and dining facilities. I mean, you can take your pick, they're all here. For amenities, this village actually has the largest park in the Woodlands called North Shore Park, which is right past Lake Woodlands, right on the lake. And the park features playgrounds, has play sets, has sports fields, and even has a launch pad for those kayaks and paddle boards for easy lake access if that's your thing. Now, what's interesting is this village is actually going to be zoned to 2 high schools. We have the Woodlands High School and College Park High School. And that's just simply because as the community grew, well, so did the need for additional schools. So let's do something. Let's take a drive around the neighborhood. So a 1-minute drive at that, so you can see for yourself at the ground level what Panther Creek looks like. Now, another central village of the Woodlands is going to be Cochran's Crossing, which is just north of Panther Creek. Now, one of the main draws to this actual village is going to be the Woodlands Country Club. You can see part of it is extending right here, this golf course behind me. And this is an amazing private country club with 5 different golf courses, several clubhouses. We got dining options, pools, and fitness facilities galore. Now, this country club is quite luxurious and high-end, so being a member here is going to cost you a kidney at minimum. But here at Cochran's Crossing, this is more than likely where you're gonna find the highest number of homes that are gonna be on the golf course with amazing views right from your backyard. It's also another village with a wide range of housing options. Now, homes here range in size from 1,800 square foot all the way over 8,000 square foot. And currently, right now, as the making of this video, there are 62 active listings ranging from $360,000 all the way up to $3.5 million, and on average list price of $738,000 and an average cost per square foot of $248. What's also noteworthy is the Woodlands High School is located right here in this village, and most homes are going to be zoned to that high school, but there are some, just a little bit, just not too many, but they're gonna be zoned to College Park High School as well. So if you desire to be in one school versus the other, make sure that's something that you're paying attention to. You need to pay attention to those details when you are home shopping. Now, let's do this. Let's take a drive around the neighborhood so you can see for yourself what it looks like at the ground level. Let's ride. Next up, we have College Park. Now, this is the most northeastern village in the Woodlands, and what's interesting is that a portion actually extends over into I-45 on the east side, also known as Harper's Landing. It's essentially where I'm at right now. Now, this village is definitely ideal for those of you who commute north up to Conroe, or you want to head south into Houston for work using I-45. Now, people call this area College Park because this area is actually home to Lone Star College, which is a JUCO, and they have other institutions with satellite offices or satellite locations here as well. It's also great for your children to remain close and receive dual credit while in high school. And commercially, there is a whole lot going on over here, bringing in a ton of jobs and additional income, fueling the Woodlands economy even more, which is super nice. We have major hospitals that are also located here in this area. We have St. Luke's, we have Texas Children's Hospital, we have Houston Methodist and Memorial Hermann Hospital. Now, all of those are outstanding medical institutions, and they provide that high quality care, which is a big deal for the community. And that's gonna be a big deal, especially for those of you who retire here and you may need a little bit of extra medical care. Additionally, if you are a medical professional, this is also a pretty ideal spot for you because your commute time to work is essentially non-existent. There's really not as many homes here in this area though. Just like the other, there's not as many homes in this area compared to the other villages because it is so commercial heavy, but you do have several options that are gonna range from $340,000 all the way up to over $1 million. Now, what's also interesting for you to know is that this is one of the few areas around the Woodlands that has its own 55 and up senior community called Windsor Hills, which is a gated and controlled access area for that extra layer of added security. And for the high school, we're in College Park, so obviously you will be zoned to College Park High School. All right, next village is going to be Indian Springs. Now, this village is located on the west side and is in what we call the back of the Woodlands. It is in fact the smallest village, but don't let that fool you. This is a very, very desirable village. And in fact, I've actually had people tell me that they prefer Indian Springs over every other village in the Woodlands. Now, what's unique about this area is that because it is located farther west and the terrain landscape here changes drastically. There's lots of rolling hills and full of character and full of charm. You actually have some beautiful elevation changes here, and you definitely don't feel like you are in the flatlands of Houston. It is remarkable. I love that, by the way. I just really love to see rolling hills. So this village actually started development in the 1980s and it finished out around 2003-ish. The village is actually going to be zoned to the Woodlands High School, and it does have its own anchor grocery store and village center, just like the rest of them. And HEB is here too. You gotta love that because that is our go-to destination for all of our grocery shopping here. Nobody likes Kroger's, let's be real. What's notable about Indian Springs is the primary access points to George Mitchell Nature Preserve, which has tons and tons of hiking, biking, and walking trails. I mean, it's massive, it's huge, it's beautiful, it's serene, and you can absolutely get lost in there. So just be very careful and cautious whenever you go in there. And when it comes to housing right now, there are 25 active listings for sale as of making of this video, ranging in prices from $300,000 to $2.3 million. The average list price is going to be around $892,000, and the average price per square foot is going to land you right around $254 per square. Now, people love the walkability and the fact that all of the necessities are within reach, and because it is on the smaller side, people have more of a sense of community here. So that's one big perk about being in Indian Springs. Now, let's do this. Let's take a drive so you can see what Indian Springs look like from the ground level, so you can see what this village is all about. All right, now you're gonna learn about the second newest village right here in the Woodlands, and welcome to Sterling Ridge. It's actually one of the larger villages here too, and it's located further west in the back of the Woodlands, but with newer homes here comes steeper prices. 60 homes are currently on the market for sale as of the making of this video, with an average list price of over $1 million and an average price per square foot of $263. Now, what's notable about this community is a lot of homes will be on the golf course here, which also happens to be one of the main attractions, the Gary Player Golf Course, which is essentially part of the Woodlands Country Club, but it's with its own little unique style. Now, of course, this village is going to have its own parks and whatnot, but the best and the most noteworthy that you should know about is Terramont Park, where I'm at right now. There's a skate park over there to my right-hand side. There's a soccer field. We have 2 disc golf courses, we have tennis courts here, and again, with big, beautiful rolling hills and the elevation changes that comes with the terrain just makes things, you don't even feel like you're in Houston over here. But there's also 2 other major commercial developments, the Sterling Ridge Shopping Center, which again, every little village has its own shopping center, has a Kroger's, has fine dining, various fast food options, and in the back of Sterling Ridge, there is a Walmart and other commercial stores for anything else that you pretty much need. Now, for the schools, here's something for you to know. Now, the majority of this village is going to be zoned to the Woodlands High School, but there is a small little sliver, a little pocket neighborhood called May Valley that is actually zoned to Magnolia High School. Now, the Woodlands High School 9th grade center is also located in here in this village as well. So let's take a drive through Sterling Ridge so you can see for yourself what the neighborhood looks like at the ground level. Let's go. All right, my friends, now the next village happens to be the newest addition to the Woodlands family. Welcome to Creekside Park. Now, this is the southernmost village in the Woodlands and is actually located in Harris County. Creekside is split into 2. We have east and we have west, with the west side featuring the newest of the homes here in the family. And the style is actually slightly different in comparison to how the rest of the Woodlands was developed. More trees were cleared out to allow for a little bit more of a breathing room, I guess you can say, with a little less trees hanging over your head, over your home. So there's really not as much trees as you would see in, let's say, Grogan's Mill or the first village, for example. I mean, there's still plenty of that here though, just slightly more thinned out. Now, for the school districts, here is what you need to know. For elementary schools and middle schools, your kids will attend the school within the communities here, but in regards to the high school, residents are actually going to be zoned to Tomball High School. And the most notable park that you should see is the Rob Fleming Park, which is really freaking awesome. The main focal point here is the massive log style cabin pavilion, and it's surrounded by a ton of open green space, trees, and a pond. Also, in this area, you're gonna find a water park that has pools, lazy rivers, lap pools, which is just amazing, by the way. Commercial development here in this particular village is pretty awesome here too, because it is the newest, and I love things that are actually really new and a little bit more modernized. So you have H-E-B here in the village, along with some fine dining and a really nice little turf area to let the kids run free and let them run around and get all their energy out before they go to bed. There's also a movie theater there as well, which makes things pretty nice. And in regards to housing, there are currently 49 active listings active homes for sale as the making of this video, ranging from $450,000 all the way up to $1.7 million, with an average list price of $883,000 and an average price per square foot of $244. Now, let's do this. Let's take a drive around this particular village so you can see firsthand what it looks like at the ground level. Let's ride. All right, what better way to end our tour today than on the largest village and probably where most people end up landing whenever they decide to move to the Woodlands. Welcome to Bridge. So this village has around 7,000 single family homes with a little more average home price as well, which is why most people actually end up landing here in Bridge in the first place. There are currently, as of the making of this video, 117 active listings that are going to range from $220,000 all the way up to $1.5 million, with an average list price of around $556,000 and $218 average price per square foot. Now, Bridge has great access points to get in and out of the community with relatively ease. You have Research Forest, 1488 and 242, which makes driving around super convenient and definitely efficient. Now, there are a ton of little parks that are going to be all throughout this big village, and there's also plenty of green space as well. There are also 2 shopping centers here, and you have the options of either H-E-B or Kroger's, and you better choose the latter because H-E-B, it's a staple here in Texas, so let's agree that that is going to be your grocery store, your go-to grocery store from now on, okay? All right, all jokes aside, this is a wonderful area for those that aren't necessarily on $1 million budget. Like I mentioned a second ago, most people actually moving to the Woodlands end up here in the village of Bridge. All right, my friends, I truly hope you found some sort of value in this video, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell icon so you never miss a video. We cover the entire greater Houston area from suburb to suburb, city to city, so you can know exactly what to expect whenever you move and relocate down here. And if moving to the Houston area or maybe even the Woodlands is in your near future, make sure you give me a call. I'll leave all my information in the description box down below, and I'll even put a QR code somewhere down there because I know about 60% of you roughly watch this on your TV. So pull out your phone right now, scan that QR code. You could book a call with myself or Samantha, and we would be honored, delighted, and thrilled to help make your transition to Houston a smooth one. I'll see you guys in the next video.